Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an all new episode of the Grando Show. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, yes. I'm glad to be back. Congratulations on making it to March. We made it to March, y'all. So, ain't no looking back now. Like I always start the show, I just want to say, hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's being safe. I hope everybody's checking up on your loved ones and everybody's finding a routine. You know what I'm saying? Something to help their mental health out. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's in the long term what we need to be focusing on right now, because obviously there's going to be repercussions on what's happening now, and we need to focus on one thing right now. Like, first things first, you know what I'm saying? Before we can start working on other shit, we need to get past this pandemic. And it does seem that we're headed in that direction for this pandemic to be over. So I'm just gonna, I'll say amen to that. So cheers and salud, everybody. So my last episode was it was probably one of my favorite episodes that I've done. But the audio got fucked up. It was my fault, but like I said, it everything's still kind of new for me. It's just, I just need to make sure that I, cross the T's and dot the I's. But I don't see. It's just, I wish I had a better editor, eventually I'll take some classes to put out a better video, but for right now, this is pretty much where we're going to be. But that being said, I just, I loved it. It was something that I think a lot of people go through if you work in customer service, and I just wanted to shed some light on that. And so just to, add to that episode, I work in food service, and so I work with a lot of characters. I've seen a lot of people, you know what I mean? And so I just wanted to mention this person that I had the pleasure of working with, and they had, their father was a professional disc golfer. And that was the first time that I had ever heard of professional disc golfers. I'm sure that, it does exist, but they would tell me about when they would caddy for their father, and it blew my mind, because I didn't know how technical it got, but I live in Oregon, and there's a lot of disc golf courses out here, and we're getting closer to summer. The weather's changing. It's definitely, we got into the 60s last week, and oh my God, it's such a relief. People won't understand what the difference is between 40 degrees and 30 degrees. It's 10 degrees, but you feel it, trust me. And even, going beyond that, even from 30 degrees to 20 degrees, it seems like it's only 10 degrees, but there's just a huge difference. There's a huge difference. Between 60 and 70 degrees, you definitely feel it, So it's just something that I wanted to mention that stood out in my mind because the weather's getting nicer around here, and so I do plan on doing some disc golfing. That's in the near future, and also I would also like to know if there's like a Tiger Woods equivalent to disc golf person. I don't know. See, I just all I know is that there's probably a lot of hippies that play disc golf. It's a lot of fun, especially if you're stoned. So yeah. Another thing I wanted to mention was as far as when I got to Portland, I mean, as soon as I got here, I just started to experience different things, and it was just so not refreshing, but it was just like it was cool. It was so cool and fresh and rad to me to experience, different like ideas. I mean, just like when I started working in Portland, I remember the first time I started working in the kitchen, and there was a DJ. I was working with a DJ, two artists, a comic artist that actually got published, two musicians, three musicians actually, and they were all really good, and it was really intimidating for me. I mean, I swear it almost seemed like there was a lot of people that were involved in a lot of other like arts that were art that were working in customer service, and I have never experienced that anywhere else before, and it was very intimidating to me. Like I was like, I mean, I'm not I mean I always enjoyed music, right? Like some of my influences are like my music influences are like like Pennywise, not the clown, the band, and Pennywise and Aretha Franklin and everything in between. It was like and I think that really helped me to understand different points of view. What I'm saying, like music is it's very like universal. It's like a universal language, and so that would my music influences really helped me try and connect with people, what I'm saying, because otherwise we would have nothing to talk about, and I would be a boring motherfucker, so it was just like that, and in some ways in some ways, like indirectly, I was looking for that, what I'm saying, like I was looking for somebody to push me, what I'm saying, or I was looking to get pushed in a certain direction, what I'm saying, like to expand my horizon, so to speak, what I'm saying, kind of, just kind of I just felt like I was stuck, what I'm saying, like and I needed to get I needed somebody to influence me and in a way that's gonna make me think about what I'm doing, what I'm saying, and I didn't have that. I haven't had that. Not I mean not in a long time, and so it was cool. It was very cool, and I can go on and on and on about this. And I mean I have, like I said, I have stories, and they're gonna come out eventually. but I'm still working on I'm just being more consistent on for this show, I've been doing some research, and it does seem like the consistency is the key for uploading videos on YouTube, because like it just seems like there's people getting paid for videos they did 10 years ago, and I think that's the key, right? To get your stay consistent and keep putting out videos. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know when you're gonna just get a grip of views. You know what I'm saying? Then you have a bunch of content and everybody's gonna go back and check out your other shit. Which is very cool. Like, not to bring up Joe Rogan, but you can only imagine how many views he has on YouTube, and for him to pick up and pull all his videos off YouTube is like huge. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if, but hence the size of the fucking check. That's why he got paid. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But his story is very unique, and I don't. There's still a lot of people who are gonna like never pull their videos off YouTube unless they get 100 million, but that's never gonna happen again. I don't think that's ever gonna happen again. I mean, obviously Joe Rogan's situation is very unique, and so it's like, yeah, I don't see anybody doing that jump again. They have to have an absurd amount of followers. You know what I'm saying? Like, absurd amount. But we're gonna move right along here. We're moving along, ladies and gentlemen, to another segment. This is a new segment that I've been wanting to break out, that I've had under my sleeve for a while. But this is a segment I would like to call Big Time Questions. This is a big time question, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is a question, right, where I think the majority of people they're gonna understand this question, because it's a question that, I mean, it's a universal question, in other words, because like, people, you're not given a smartphone when you're 10 or 11. I mean, maybe they're given a phone, but you're not really using it like somebody who's 14 or 15 years old. Okay, so my question is, are we better off without the internet? The reason I am bringing this up is because right now, in this particular moment in time, I feel like the internet is doing way more damage than it is doing any kind of good or any kind of progression. It's just it just seems to be an area where you're you're hearing about such bad and just non-essential things, and it's just, here's the thing, right? I can remember a time when there were no smartphones. Now, there's always been cell phones, right? as long as I can remember. They haven't always been accessible, right? Like, Zach Morris had one, Saved by the Bell, the big ass one, and there's always car phones. You plug it into your lighter or whatever. There's always been cell phones, right? There's always been like a CB radio, and then like, and then everybody got smartphones and the internet, right? And my thing is like, I just, the problem is right now, it's like, with the internet, it seems like, people are getting famous for the wrong reasons. Like, they're getting famous for being famous. And it, like I said, like, some things just aren't news, or they shouldn't be at all, or people shouldn't have to, like, be exposed to, like the stupidest thing right now. It's like the internet is making people stupid right now. And it's just, like I said, it's like, and I started thinking about it. Okay, well, what about news? Okay, well, what about news? Where did people get their news from before the internet? Newspapers. The network news. And, people are going to say, like, well, fuck, they have, obviously networks are going to, they have a biased opinion because they have an agenda. Are you telling me that social media doesn't have an agenda? You know what I'm saying? Like, their agenda is probably worse than network news, because they're trying to gain data on individuals, and it's just, I mean, what else? I mean, we pay bills online, right? We can pay bills through the mail, and then, okay, well, what about porn? There was always porn. You had porn on DVDs and cassette tapes or whatever, and now it's just like an endless fucking, flow of porn. Right. And so, I mean, it's just, for me, as far as like, progression and evolution, I can remember TV shows and, movies that I would watch when I was growing up, and I they would say, I can remember this very clearly, we were better off years ago, because their cell phones going off every 5 minutes, and like, so they're upset, and they're like, well, we're better off years ago when we didn't have cell phones. And that's still, I think, to a degree, it's still like, it still makes sense that people say that, because it does get annoying sometimes. And it just seems like a lot of families, don't, like, they'll stare at their cell phones all day long instead of talk to each other. And it just made me ask the question right now, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Like, I it's a hard question for me, and I know it's a hard question for a lot of people too. But the thing is, like, obviously, right? There's always going to be outlets of information, but just for an example, like at the restaurant that I was working downtown in, there was no TVs, and there's a lot of people who were asking my boss beforehand. I can remember a lot of people, especially during football season, it's like, oh, why don't we have TVs? Why don't we have TVs? And I understood exactly why we didn't have TVs in that restaurant, because my boss didn't want people to watch TV. You know what I'm saying? He wanted interaction. He wanted people to interact with each other instead of watching the fucking dumbass TV. You know what I'm saying? And there's something to that. There's something to that. You know. I just don't know how much further we can push like smartphones, right? It's just like we're getting wearables now, and I know that I just heard a podcast about this guy, who's working on some technology to make people live longer and that and I just and wearables like watches and rings, that had computers in them. That's the future. But it just seems like, for what though? Why? To sell, for Apple to make another $1 billion, for us to buy fucking equipment that, to bring up our status. Like what's, we need something besides that, like what are we trying to spend money on, and for what? It just, it's a hard question, what I'm saying? It's a hard question, but, I feel like we need to be asking these questions right now, because I feel like we could be figuring something else out. But the wheels are turning. The wheels are turning for sure. The energies, people are making different engines to run on different kind of energies. So, that's what we need to be focusing on. I've always said, like, I don't need to know, like, if Kim and Kanye are getting divorced. I don't need to know that. I don't care, and just, things like that, it's like, there's like this, the amount of content on social media it's so much, what I'm saying? Like, every other day it's like somebody I've never heard of is like, pumping gas in Sunset, and I'm like, I don't know who the fuck that is. And there's actually like a song that I sing, and it's really stupid. And it goes something like this. I don't know who that is. Well, I'm not gonna sing it, but it's really dumb, because like I hear about so and so, some person I've never heard of before, getting a cheeseburger at a new spot, and I'm like, that's great, that's awesome, or this person who I've never heard of is just got caught, butchering his wife, in Beverly Hills, and I'm like, well, fuck, that's fucked up. And who's that guy again? And why is he important? Oh, it's because he's got money. Okay, I see why he made the news. Oh yeah, he's he definitely butchered his wife. Okay, and it bothers me to a point to where I'm just like, I don't, I'm just like, just the amount of bullshit, it sometimes it's overwhelming. It's just overwhelming, But I guess it's entertainment. It's entertainment at its best, and I use the internet every day, and I just finished watching Kill Tony on YouTube, and it's fucking amazing, and I'm glad, that I have a chance to watch it, because otherwise, I mean, it's fucking hilarious, you know what I'm saying, and it's like, well, fuck, okay, so let's just say we're going through this pandemic in like 1992. What would we do then? What would we do then if we didn't have internet? Ask yourself that. If we didn't have internet, during this pandemic, what would we be doing? What would change? I know you can't shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's no good. But still, I mean, everybody's be, oh my god, if we didn't have internet to this time, blah 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 blah. What the? Yeah, okay. It's like, well, we would probably still keep in contact. It's we would probably be more outdoorsy and maybe try and figure some other ways of trying to, coexist with each other, instead of, through FaceTime. It's just something that's been bothering me, and I've been wanting to talk about it. So that was my 2 cents. But I'm sure everybody's got an opinion, so we'll just keep it at that. All right. All right. Okay, so we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna go to a new segment. So, Texas and Mississippi lifted their mask mandate there, and I don't know if it's a good idea, but at the same time, they're not telling people that to not wear a mask. They're just saying that it's not mandatory to wear masks. I'm just like, it's important because, like, I listened to, I don't know what podcast I was listening to the other day, but just because the restaurants are open doesn't mean you have to go there. And I've been saying that since the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know how else to get my point across of why it was a bad idea to shut down everything. Obviously, the pandemic is very, very bad, but obviously, you can understand how some people are not gonna feel the same way about the decisions that were made, because it's like, well, fuck, why can't we fly in planes, and we weren't able to go to restaurants, and it only seems like, minorities and low income people were doing the most suffering, So it just it's just a question of, like, how stupid are people? How much do we need to be told, to wear a mask or not wear a mask, because we're going to do the opposite, and I've been saying it from the beginning. I've been saying it since the second lockdown, or this, because we weren't allowed to have indoor seating, and I was like, when it got lifted, I remember telling my boss clearly, I was like, people don't need to come here, but we should have the option for people to come here if they would like to. If there's people with underlying conditions and they're very susceptible to getting sick, they probably shouldn't go out, And so it made sense to me. Even though a lot of people are not going to see it that way. So, but like I said, it's not going to be the same for every area. It's what I'm saying, you can't. Every city and town is going to be very unique to their own situation. You know what I'm saying? You can't treat, like, fucking rural Montana to, like, New York City. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you can't compare the two. So you shouldn't have them have the same kind of restrictions, you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. And I think that's what a lot of people are saying. And so yeah. And I just I thought it was funny when I saw the memes for Joe Biden with the Neanderthal thing, and I was like, good for Joe Biden, man. Joe Biden, hey, you know what? Hey, that was all right. I mean, it was like, there were so many good memes on Twitter that day. It was like, wearing a mask, so easy a Neanderthal can do it. And it was so good. Oh my God. It was like, definitely made my day. And so, but yeah, it's so simple, right? It's so simple. Wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands. It just seems so simple. If you had a bubble, great. It just got blown out of proportion. It's just like any little kid, you tell them not to do something, we'll do the exact opposite. But yeah, I can't talk about. That's the thing, right? Like, I can't talk about what they're feeling in Texas, and I can't talk about how they're feeling in Florida or like Mississippi, because I don't live there. They may be dealing with shit way better than we are. And I am hearing things about that. Like, they're not letting the fucking pandemic dictate their everyday lives. Obviously, they're being cautious, but they're just not giving that much, emphasis on, changing everything, and in some ways it's, it's encouraging. Like, it takes a lot of balls, I'll tell you that much. It takes a lot of balls to go against the grain and be like, nah, we're gonna stay open. So, but I think I you know what? It's got to be on the horizon by now. I mean, we're in fucking March. You know what I'm saying? Everything's gonna be on the horizon right now. I just, like I said, every town and city situation is unique to their own. Whatever fucking analytics, but what I'm saying is, like, it's coming. It's gotta come now. It's got to. I mean, we got 3 fucking vaccines, and they're all going. You know what I'm saying? We're all getting them. So it's just we just have to it's got to have a tough upper lip and grin and bear it through this last fucking push, because it's coming. I'm telling y'all, it's coming. All right. Wow. So we're getting through it. Okay. So yes, I live in Oregon. I do my show in Portland. I'm here representing Old Town Portland. I'm here representing Old Town Portland, baby. So my top 5 list, ladies and gentlemen, top 5 list. Top 5 list. See, I wish I had an editor who would like push some fireworks right here. Boom, boom, poof, poof. I love fireworks. Mexicans in general love fireworks. I think we love fireworks more than the Chinos. But yeah, Mexicans love fireworks. My favorite holiday, I'm sorry, is 4th of July, and I'm not gonna apologize for that. And 4th of July is my favorite holiday. And the fireworks have a lot to do with it. Okay, I don't. Where did we get that? I don't know how we ended up on 4th of July. Oh, because of my. Okay. We went down a rabbit hole, ladies and gentlemen, and we're gonna get back. We're getting back. Okay, we're getting back. We're getting back. But I live in Oregon. The craft beer scene is the best, maybe in the world. I'll take it that far. I know that Milwaukee has. I think Milwaukee, Wisconsin has the most breweries per mile than anywhere in the nation. But that was a long time ago, and I think that Oregon has changed that. I think Oregon has the most breweries. Craft beer in Oregon, like I said, it's just it's unlike anything I've ever tasted anywhere else, and I just it's definitely a commodity, maybe Oregon's best commodity, just because of how so many other people were started doing craft beer. It's like you can find craft beer and everywhere now, and it's definitely people who do it are usually mom and pop spots, and it's very cool, especially if you get some really good shit. So here in Oregon, craft beer is a huge thing here. I just wanted to bring up that yes, I work for a brewery out here in Portland, and just the amount of support that we got during the pandemic is so fucking appreciated. And it's not just us, and and I know there's a lot of other businesses, but us in particular, I wanted to say thank you for everything, because it's just, we're not like a national brand. We don't have, like lobbyists, trying to get funds for us to stay open. It's purely neighborhoods and, people, what I'm saying, tourists or who come just to try the beer. And like, I can sit here and try to explain to people how much support we got, especially right away, but it's not gonna do it justice. Like, so what we did in the very beginning was we got with a lot of different brewers around, and what we did was we started a drive-through farmers market for beer at our place, and it was a huge success, and it was so awesome, and I can't express my gratitude enough, because like a lot of people won't understand how much support that the locals give craft beer, but it's definitely something that I get emotional about when I talk about it, because it was just like, it's almost overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? Like, they helped us out when we needed, but at the same time, we were there, and it's definitely it makes me feel proud of what we did at that time. Okay. And this is a very tough top 5 list. But I had to do it because I live in Oregon and I drink craft beer on the daily. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen, my top 5 breweries in Portland. All right. So my top 5 my top 5 breweries in not Portland but Oregon. Well, the whole state. I'm not gonna break it down to just Portland, but we'll say Oregon, the state of Oregon. So number 5 is Gigantic Brewing Company. Wow, what can I say? Gigantic is unbelievable. I think their coach, the coach that they put out, maybe the best coach the coach that I've ever had, and I can remember when they started serving it at the local that bar here in the city. I'm just gonna Google it because I forgot to. Because it's at the tip of my tongue. Right, nothing's open downtown. It was a chain restaurant, but it was the one in Portland is dope because it was in the basement of a building. And when I was still living in Southeast Portland, I used to hit it because my bus was there. I used to catch the 8 bus every day there. And I can't think of it now. Even though, oh, the Yard House. It was the Yard House. So the Yard House in Portland was so dope, and I used to hit it every chance I got. It was in the basement of a huge building here in Portland, and they had a million TVs. And I used to love going there because the bar was a wraparound bar, and it was so dope. It was so big, It was about 5 minutes from downtown, from Pioneer Square, and it's probably boarded up right now. But yeah, Gigantic had their coach there, and it was super tasty. And I used to love going to the Yard House for their calamari. Also, Gigantic, the brewery in Southeast Portland, they put on Timbers games, and I'm a huge Timbers guy. I've been a Timbers fan since I got to Portland, and it's fucking awesome to see a Timbers game there. It's even more awesome to see a Timbers game at Providence Park. Go Timbers, baby! But Gigantic Brewing Company in Southeast Portland, great. They do awesome stuff. They're super neighborhood. Like I said, they show Timbers games, and it's super cool to watch a Timbers game there and get drunk as fuck. Awesome. Gigantic Brewing Company, number 5. That's a solid number 5, ladies and gentlemen. Some people from Portland will get me. Number 4 is Rogue Brewing Company. I just want to say that every time, I don't drink Rogue a lot, But every time I get a chance to drink something from Rogue, I'm never disappointed. It seems like they're just, you know, they're very underrated for what they put out, and they do awesome stuff. And I'm every time I get something from Rogue, I'm fucking very pleasantly surprised because they do awesome work over there. And I'm stoked every time I get to try something from Rogue. Number three is Pelican Brewing Company from Bend, Oregon. Now, this is the thing, right? Oregon has a lot of heavy hitters, and I had to boil them down to top 5. Okay. Now, for me, for Pelican to be number 3 right now is, for me, I'm telling you, Pelican Brewing Company is number 1 on a lot of people's list. And I mean, if you taste the beer that they're putting out right now, it'll change your life. And one thing that I noticed, especially right when the pandemic started, was that it seemed like all the breweries around here were all putting out their fucking top game. They were all just putting out fucking high end shit. And it made me feel like, kind of special, you know what I'm saying? Because you can just tell everything was super fresh and just like super tasty, and you can just taste the work, and it's so satisfying. I mean, number 3, Pelican Brewing Company. For me, their cocoa porter, unfucking real. I mean, a lot of their beers are super drinkable, and just you notice them right away. You notice the flavors. Just the work that they're doing right now is pretty incredible, and I just wanted to acknowledge them. Pelican Brewing Company, number 3. Number two. Ex Novo. Ex Novo was one of the first beers that I've tried, craft beers that I tried in Portland. Ex Novo is so underrated, and they have a sister brewing company in New Mexico, and I mean they are closer to me, but at the same time, Ex Novo is so good that I can see people coming from out of state to try some of their stuff. I mean, it's that good. I mean, I've tried a lot of their stuff, and I'm never disappointed. Never disappointed. Ex Novo could not get more praise for being, just for the size of how big they are and what they're putting out. It's really cool. And so I wanted to, that's a solid number 2. Solid number 2. Now, number 1, I am biased, but if you've ever been to Old Town Brewing Company, okay, here's the thing. I work for Old Town Brewing Company, okay? And our Shanghai IPA has won gold medals. It won a gold medal at the Great American Brew Fest in Colorado. I mean, if you don't know where it is and you don't know what the fuck's up, it's a huge deal for craft beer. And our IPA actually won gold. We've won multiple awards. I know there's a lot of breweries that have in Portland or in Oregon, but I'm just saying that like our flagship IPA, it's the best that I've ever had. It's the best that I've ever tasted. But here's the thing, right? Like, I work for them, so like I drink it so much that I build up a high, like just a big tolerance, and I just don't get drunk off it anymore. So that's why I drink other shit. But there's a few, like, I think we were the first brewery to put out a hazy IPA in Oregon, and so it's just and it's still to this day, I think it's the best hazy that I've ever had. And a lot of breweries will tell you the same thing. And I'm sure they're biased, but uh, what what we do, I just wanted to. It's just amazing some of the stuff that I've tasted out of our own brewery, and we're not stopping. We're not stopping for anybody. We're gonna keep brewing, and it's very cool when people go to our spot and it's like I want to buy $80 worth of Shanghai because it's my favorite beer, and it's cool. So that's my number one, Old Town Brewing Company, and I want to give honorable mentions. So Freem Brewing Company is well known in Oregon. Occidental, really good. Their Kolsch is really good too. Occidental does a lot of good shit. Deschutes Brewing Company, awesome. So Deschutes and Rogue, those are both rivers here in Oregon. And if you drink enough of that beer, you will be riding the motherfucking the Whitewater Rapids. You catch my fucking drift. You're gonna be fucked up. Keep drinking those motherfuckers. The Shoots, 10 Barrel. 10 Barrel has a lot of awards. Crux. Those are all heavy hitters. There's a lot of heavy hitters here in Oregon. And like I said, I know people who make special trips to come out here just to taste the beer, especially during fresh hop season. And it's definitely a thing here. It's definitely a thing here. And like I said, it was this list was very, very hard for me because these are all heavy fucking hitters. These are all heavy hitters. You can go to any one of these breweries right now and just get your fucking socks rocked off because you're gonna taste a lot of really good stuff. And I am very fortunate to have tried a lot of really good stuff. So it was really hard for me to break down to 5 breweries that I would really acknowledge and say you should try these. But these are very, very, very good breweries, and you can't go wrong. You know what I'm saying? You can't go wrong. And any one of these, you're gonna have a good time. So yeah. Yeah, get drunk, motherfuckers. It'll get you drunk. Yeah, I found out. I think Sam Adams put out a hazy, and that's hilarious. Sam Adams, technically they are kind of a craft beer. They're kind of mainstream now. But they do have a lot of beers, you know what I'm saying? When I was still living in New York, I would, their winter ale, I would fucking when I seen it on tap, I would definitely get a beer of that. They do a lot of good stuff. But they haven't went the craft beer route though. And in some ways Sam Adams is a craft beer kind of deal. But they have to understand that they're not the only show in town now. You know what I'm saying? They're not the only show, and I think they're adapting. So yeah. but still very cool. I think that's all I got for today. I think that's it's gonna be a wrap. But I've had a lot of fun doing this show. I'm still gonna try and pump them out for y'all because I love y'all. Like I said, um, find me on Instagram, find me on Twitter. The handles are gonna be up on my page. My Instagram is at Nizzo503. My Twitter's the same. Come holler at me. I'll be around. I'm still gonna try and do the show. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to cover today. Yeah, I just wanted to one last thing I wanted to say is that where I live, there's a lot of runners. And because there's a running path right by my place, and there's a bike path, because I live by the waterfront. And so all I'm gonna say is that if you're a night runner, because we got a lot of night runners around here, and I'm not against night runners, okay, but if you're gonna be a night runner, don't wear black. Don't wear black. Wear something fluorescent. For the love of God, please don't wear black and just start running around the streets, and it's you're making it hard for everybody. So stop it. Anyways, I love you guys. I love y'all. Peace. Y'all be good. I'll be back. One love. One love, one love, one love.